evening, and welcome to Not a Good Hockey Pod, Episode 7. I'm your host, Alex Nez, and this burly bearded bastard's my co-host, Mick Finley. And I don't know, there ain't much of shit going on this week. might be a
It's
slow
tough.
one. I have no
It's
voice. I was fucking ripping a terrible towel last night, pounding beers,
yeah,
being on TV, being
yeah.
famous.
You were on TV.
But, yeah. But
Yo, were you on the
I
Jumbo,
know,
the
dude, shit,
Jtron?
they got my good side. I was on the big Tron. Two
Jeez.
Heinz bottles, just fucking all day.
Just don't. Yeah, congrats, man. Just
And
doing two of these. That's awesome.
yeah, this team finally, I didn't think I had this on my bingo card that the Steelers were actually going to fucking be, picking up my spirits after how dog water and the roller coaster of emotions that the Penguins have been lately.
Sure.
So I'm going to save my voice. Do you got anything with news coming up? I know Macklin's been out for a couple weeks here.
You
That's the
know,
latest thing I've seen.
it's just been terrible news. There's been nothing, right? Like ever since Sway signed, there's been like nothing to even report on. I mean, we were just talking before this that Barkov might be back this week, which is impressive. It's tough because like trying to do a pod on hockey and then nothing hockey related happens that's good, right?
Right.
But we were laughing a bit about our standings and stuff and like where we projected people. I think it's been fun to watch like how stupid we are, but also how right we are in other ways. I don't again, there's a small sample size here, just a couple games since the last time we recorded, so probably don't need to review it all, but I mean, like Winnipeg being as strong as they are and the Oilers stinking, like it's pretty great.
They're pretty bad, man. I have no idea what the hell's going on with them up there, but it seems like they're almost there. They just can't put the puck in the net. Like it's crazy. I watched Nuge just like hit, I don't know, section 203 before he hit a net like four times in a game. I have
Buddy,
zero clue what the hell is going on there. They've never looked this bad. It's just new to me.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like I was watching one of their games. I forgot who they were playing, and they just had like so many power play opportunities, and they just would choke. And I don't know. It's just not impressive. And you know how people get the Stanley Cup hangover? Well, they have like the Stanley Cup loss hangover. Like
Right.
they're just like still demoralized, and they need to just dig themselves out. Meanwhile, you got donkey shows fucking not losing. The Calgary is phenomenal. I thought Winnipeg was going to be good. They are good. Nashville, dumpster fire.
Done. Nothing to report
Dumpster
about
fire.
there.
Nope, just trash. Just funny trash. Um, Congrats on
Stamkos finally
Columbus.
tucked one away.
Who? Who?
I said Stamkos finally tucked one away out down there,
Oh, he
but
got a G.
he finally got one.
Oh, good for
A little
him.
notch in the post there.
Maybe Tampa Bay wasn't as stupid as we thought. I mean, they're not doing that great either. But I just watched them lose tonight against Toronto. It was embarrassing. But
Yeah, they got obliterated. However, with them, it's hard to fail when you got Nikita Kucherov on your team. That guy's incredible.
Victor
What?
Hedman too.
Yeah, and he's looking much better than last year. So, yeah, they're
He's
stepping up in a lot of ways. I didn't think they would take too much of a step back. However, they just lost a lot of like guys that were there for a long time. So it's probably just going to take a little bit to just build that back up. But they're going to be still strong. And
it's a transition phase for sure because a lot of these guys I've never heard of these names like on their team now. You know what I mean? They've been such a unit for so long that's obvious that's going to change anyone's locker room. But honestly, nobody cares about the Tampa Bay Lightning at all. So we could just move on. Yeah, thinking about this week and like how highs are highs and lows are lows. Wednesday night, man, me and you both had a great night of hockey. We
oh,
both
dude,
enjoyed our
we were
hockey.
all the way back. We were all the way
It-
back.
We were both remember we were going to share the championship, both
Man, that would have
going
been
to
such a
hold a
cool
cup,
moment. We could have
one
had such a
each.
cool.
And then just 2 days go by and reality hits that we're never going to even see the cup in the building. Like it's just
No,
not a possibility.
I probably won't even see the postseason. I won't even see April.
You might not, maybe I won't. I don't know. Like there's a lot to dissect here. And you know what? I don't want to repeat myself a ton from last week, but I definitely have some low lights to discuss on this goddamn team. But I will give you the floor if you would like to take it first on Pittsburgh. You know what? Yeah, let's start with Pittsburgh. I
Yeah,
want
because
to because
I don't even have that much to say about them. It's the same old song and dance that I've probably been just bitching about for a couple of years now. But I kind of mentioned again, it was just like we're just gonna be watching a bunch of old guys hit milestones, and that's awesome. That's fun. I'm okay with it. Get to
yeah,
watch history. It's still history. It's still part of this franchise moment. I get to see if I get to see fucking Gino on the ice. I'm fine with it. I'll watch that man turn over a puck 15 fucking times in a game, and I'm just gonna be grateful. However, it's fucking tough. It's you can only lie to yourself so much that it's like, oh man, maybe we can have a nice, easy, fucking, just quiet night where I'm just not gonna rip my hair out of my head, and we're playing the Sabres. Let's just at least get a 4-2 game and have a nice little fucking easy, put the fire on night. Nice little chilly fall night. No, I got to be pacing back and forth in my living room because we got Tage Thompson having a career day on us because I don't know, half of our defense we pulled from goddamn Giant Eagle. It's crazy. So it's just I've never seen such poor hockey on a back end in my life.
yeah.
It's I mean I knew it was bad, but I don't understand how our defense has suffered this much. They can't do anything. They can't close out lanes. They can't trap a puck. They can't fucking beat anybody to the corner so that other teams getting the puck deep. They just look bullied. They just can't get anybody out from in front of the net. So like that's like my biggest qualm is like, and we got three good shitty goaltenders. We're traveling with three goalies right now, by the way, which is insane because we just don't have goaltending. Nobody on defense, but like our offense, a lot of glimmer and light in there. I'm not so mad about it. They're still doing what they're supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
but but I don't know. It's just not going to be enough. If they don't score 6 goals a game, clearly that's not even enough. like
Sure. Sure.
so it's tough, stressful hockey. But seeing like Gino hit his 500th and Sid get over 1600, and they're just having so much fun. It just kind of makes you come back down to earth a little bit. So it's a long season. I wonder if they're gonna just fucking fizzle out and burn out even harder sometime in the middle of the season. But
Well, I watched that game. Like it was a milestone game to watch. So I definitely tuned in, and I was chatting with you through the game, and I was chatting through with my buddy Tommy through the game, and it was funny because I was like, explaining the milestones, and he's like, "Man, after Gino scored that goal on his butt, he's like, you called it all," and I was like, "Yeah, bud, I'm a podcast host. I know what I'm talking about with it when it comes to puck. You know what I mean?" So I just threw it
no,
out on the table. Obviously, like the man. But honestly, the hardest part of that whole situation to watch was the defense. I mean, Jari is there's something wrong. He can't. It can't just be that he sucks now. There's something wrong.
right,
There's something wrong. So that I don't know what it is, if it's mental or physical or whatever, but there's something very wrong. I thought Blomqvist,
hmm yeah,
Blomqvist.
nailed it.
I thought he played phenomenally. I thought he played really
Yeah.
well for the
Oh yeah,
situation he was in.
for sure.
And the situation he was put in was, and this is where the defensive conversation comes in as like the issue, is because I mean that dude got no help for the rest of the game.
No.
Every like I saw like 1 week goal on him, but I saw like 25 amazing saves. Like he was,
Yeah.
but he just couldn't get any help. And I don't know what it's gonna take. I do know what it's gonna take. I don't know if it's a possibility, but you got to get one of the two of Letang or Carlson out of that lineup.
Right.
They
I,
because
you
you need a
can't.
defensive structure there, and both of them are not good enough. Like they're just not good enough. And I think it's weird because it feels like yesterday Letang was a superhero.
Right.
Um, but the mighty fall, and that defensive structure makes no goddamn sense. And I don't know if it's coaching, I don't know what it is, but I do know that you can't have those two liabilities for your 1A 1B like defenseman, So but it was really cool to see that kid. You like him, Logan O'Connor. That shorthanded goal he had was sick.
Yeah.
Um,
Or
Brian
Drew,
Rust,
we got Drew O'Connor outside of
Drew
Logan.
O'Connor. Yep. So, okay, so Drew O'Connor, great. That was cool. Um, what an
Yeah, he's a
impact
dog,
Rust.
man.
Yeah, yeah, he is a dog. But what an impact Russ has coming back in the lineup. Like that guy's so good.
I know.
He's
Yeah,
so
he's
good.
still got it. It's nice when we have him, but your best ability is availability, and he's always in and out of this lineup, and it stinks because you just feel it just get. It's just a whole chunk of talent getting cut out, and you're like, how do you fill that hole, man?
Yeah.
Good luck, because he is fucking incredible. If he can just stay healthy, play a little bit differently, play a little bit more safe, just be aware. Like he just fucking throws his whole body on the line all the
Hmm.
time, and he just breaks his fucking ankles and he pops his hip, and he's just beaten and battered. But man, it stinks when he's out. But I'd love to have him back, and it did look like a whole different team when he's in there. But there still just wasn't like the puck luck, and you're still getting beat, and you can't get the puck sent back to you when you're like still just exiting your offensive zone. So it's just
Not enough.
it's just not enough. You don't
Yeah.
have any defense who can actually play defense. You have a lot of guys who can rip it from the blue line. That's awesome. But like, come on, man. We got a 22-year-old goalie, and Ned's not bad. I still believe in that guy. But it's when it comes to tandems in the NHL and where you want to go with it, I just don't see that happening unless you get two extra strong defensemen who can just shut down a fucking lane.
Yeah.
Like they look lost. They look. I mean, Carlson looks like my dad out there, fucking going backwards. It's insane. It's like he just pushes
He
himself off the
doesn't. He
board and he's
doesn't
like,
skate backwards.
he
He
doesn't.
doesn't skate backwards. I don't think I've ever seen Eric Carlson skate backwards. I think he can glide backwards for 2 steps and then he turns completely around on the play and he's
Right,
always chasing the forward. And that's
right,
been my issue with him since Ottawa. And I guess you can outscore that problem, but you shouldn't be on defense if you can't back check. Like can't back skate even, you know?
right.
I didn't watch the second game this week that they had. I don't know the score. What day was that? Saturday?
Carolina wasn't good. Or no, it was the Jets. There was Carolina and the Jets. We got our asses kicked to both. It was brutal.
Oh, so you had two other games, Friday
Yeah,
and Sunday.
there
Okay.
is one that I am missing, and there is one game that I missed, and that's probably it. But
Well, so Carolina was Friday. Wednesday night was Buffalo. That was the game I watched. So Friday night, you lost to the Canes horribly,
oh,
4-1.
that's right. Montreal was the big one too, and
Yeah, we discussed that last week, though, right?
right.
Yeah. And then so Sunday, you lost to the Jets. Now the Jets aren't. I'm going to consider that like an unbeatable team right now because of my godlike ability to identify talent. It makes sense unless it comes to fantasy, but
And unless it comes to Dallas hockey that you just can't seem to get on board
they're not
with,
good. They're not good.
I don't believe that. I'm
Easy
buying it.
start. The easiest teams in the league they beat.
That's fine.
They played the Sharks 4 times and the
Murder. They
Oilers
look
once.
great. Throw anybody in front of them how they looked. Play just
No,
like that. They'll be fine.
I'm not going to be on board here. But yeah, I mean, you cannot put up 1 goal against the Hurricanes and win, and apparently you can't put up 3 against the Jets and win.
Sure can't.
Um,
Not with them. They got they are sacked. I thought maybe how they're structured, they just wouldn't be able to keep up. But when you have Edmonton not being a threat or a thorn to you, you don't have any of these teams around you that are fucking breaking you down. So yeah, they're just fucking big dicking it and taking over, and not letting any game be too big or too little. They seem to just be like, we're going to go 82-0. They play like they want to win every single game from the beginning of the season to last. And I think how they ended last season, I don't blame them for having this piss and vinegar in them because that's what they look like they're playing. I watched, just against the Pens, and they're just like, we'll put up 40 on the Pens. Like you could just
yeah,
see it, and they're like, I will just bury pucks. We don't give a fuck who you have in front of us. That's what
right.
we're here to do. Like, they're a tough team, dude. They're big. They are fast. They got a bunch of goal scorers on that team.
Hmm.
And oh yeah, top three best goalie in the league, possibly best goalie in the league.
Is
So
the best. I think he's
yeah,
surpassed at this point, and he is. It's so take that one and throw it out. The Hurricanes though could have probably been an easier matchup if you showed up. I mean, 38 shots on goal to 26. That's
that's
embarrassing.
common. We're getting like mid 20s, low 20 shots on goal.
That's not enough. And
Like,
I looked at the goal scorers for both of these games, and it was Drew O'Connor, sure, but then 2 from Lars Eller and 1 from Kevin Hayes. What is
mhm.
that? Where's the big boys? If you got to score 6 to win, then those guys have to
You need
score.
all lines doing this.
Yeah,
Kevin Hayes is scoring. Sid and fucking Russ need to figure something out.
right, right. So not a lot to talk about that's good, but also kind of more of the same of what you thought it would be. Meanwhile, in fucking Beantown, everything is upside down. Everything. I fucking hate this team. I thought that I was going to absolutely love this team. I hate this team.
Yeah, it's quickly how the tune just changes, man. Is it
So what?
still like I didn't get a chance to watch the Bruins, unfortunately. I tried to tap on highlights, but is your defense still making the same issues? Like they feel a little out of place. Like they seem to also kind of just get beat up and down that ice as well lately for more than 50% of their lines being out there.
We've got 2 games as a sample size from our last conversation. So not a lot of progress has happened, except I will give credit where it's due with Hampus Lindholm is really coming into his own and
Hmm.
really shaping into what he looked like a couple years ago. I don't know if you remember, but like 2 years ago, it was like Norris conversation for the first half of the
Right.
year, and he's starting to look very comfortable again. Um, but he has been on that path all year. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with Nikita Zadorov, but he's getting a penalty every game. He cannot stay out of the box. He's not a detriment on the ice, but he's not an impact. And I'm seeing him on third line duty a lot. And that $5 million for 6 years per is going to look real bad if that's where you're stationed. You got to play up and you got to figure it out with Charlie Mack. And Mack is doing fine. Mack's always going to be doing fine, but he can't do it himself. And that's not even my problem. The defense and the
Right.
goaltending are not my problems. The defense is not good yet. Let's say that they're okay. They're not good yet, and they should be great. They should be the best in the league. On paper, they're the best in the league, and they're not being that at all. And my main issue has nothing to do with any of those 6 defensemen or the 2 goaltenders at this point. Brad Marchand has taken such a dramatic step down, and this top 6 has been completely blacked out by every team they played. I mean, we did beat Colorado. Colorado beat themselves, though. Let's be honest.
Right.
Okay, they have
Right.
3 players on that team that are worth a damn right now. I was so fucking wrong about Colorado. I was so wrong. They have nothing. They look so disoriented and like they have never played with each other. It looks like a gym class street hockey match.
It does.
It's bizarre. And but obviously, Ranton and McCarr and McKinnon are snapping it around like it's a fucking ping pong ball. But that's the only ones that showed up that night against us, and we beat them. But our fourth line had I don't know 3 goals that game. Our fourth line is the best line in the NHL.
It's crazy.
Kastelik, Beecher, and Kepke, who no one's heard of before, are just 3 goals each plus 6, just burning down villages. They are amazing. And they're fun to watch. They're fast. They're mean. They're doing everything a Bruin should do, and they're doing it consistently. And even the coach comes out and he's like, "I'm not touching that line. They're incredible. They're our number 1 line right now." That's an embarrassment, though.
Yeah,
It's an
yeah, it's
embarrassment.
nothing to be fucking, walking around about just peacocking.
Nope.
Because, yeah, you can't have your fourth line be your best. And that's like, what I'm seeing down too. Our third line's like our best
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
And
That's where we
that's
have a
tough. That's
similarity.
great if the other two are producing just a
Yeah.
little bit. Just give me a little bit. You get another point or two in there, then it's really tough to fucking take and take that momentum away from you in a game. So yeah, it's brutal when you have your fucking bangers doing the job around there. It's nuts.
I didn't play a lot of forward, especially in my later years when I was in Vermont. I played more defense. But every time I've been in a locker room or in a situation where I was having a conversation on structure, what works for forwards, in my opinion, is when you have one line that isn't designated to score.
Yeah,
And
I
that
mean, ground line.
isn't usually your fourth line. It is usually your third line that grinds and holds possession, and your fourth line mucks it up, and your top two lines are shooters. And maybe that's an old school mentality. Maybe it's not that way anymore. And I can only go and pat all of them on the back for everything that they've done extra, but it's not what's expected of them. They're pulling the weight, and no one else is. I have never said an unkind word about David Pastrnak, but wake the fuck up, dude. One shot on goal against Utah the entire game. That's all he did.
Right.
I know that they're putting their best against you, but we're talking about Utah, who doesn't have a name, is putting their best against you, should be more than one shot on goal. My
Listen,
expectations, I know, and actually, I was really impressed with their game.
those
Really,
Utahs,
really,
those Utahs are good, man.
them Stormin' Mormons, they are really good. I'm going to tell you this though, they looked great and they outplayed us, and they won that game fair and square. The goal, if you didn't watch the game, there was a part in this where a goal was wiped off for offsides.
Oh, I did see that.
You saw that, okay? But
Yeah.
what the highlight of that was the laziness of Brad Marchand on that play. And if you watched the game in between, there's a clip of Monty going over and smacking him in the back and screaming at Brad Marchand his head was about to explode. And I was like, Jesus, I've never seen Monty even upset. And he's screaming at the captain, and I'm like, you know what? Most of the time I'd be protective of those players, but he deserved every fucking bit of it. And that's just hockey to me. I mean, I've never done anything worthy of not being screamed at in a game of hockey, so I'm familiar with it. I understand it. I understand that it motivates, and there's none better when your team stinks to go to your captain and scream. Because if he's getting yelled at, no one's safe. Get out there and do your job. It's an important thing. But there's no reason if he's not ready because of his off-season surgeries, then there's no reason for him to be in the lineup. And if he is in the lineup, there's an expectation to be met, and he's pulling some shit that just should not be the leadership model of this team. And no matter what you do with placing forwards with him, if it's going to be zeros across the board or neg dash fucking plus minus, then there is no point at all in keeping that shit together. And it doesn't matter if you have to sit somebody you never would. I'm pretty sure that Charlie Coyle's up next for being fucking benched. You would never think that, but it's going to
Yeah,
happen if he
based
doesn't
on
wake up.
like his last year and everything, it is shocked that White Call. Why isn't he continuing that?
No clue.
I mean, again, yeah, you have a massive problem on your wings for
Yeah.
sure
Yep. And
on
here's
all
the
lines, pretty much. It's insane because you just got an old guy who can't keep up anymore. Fucking familiar with that style, and then you just have another kid who pretty much probably banked off of having like Bergeron around him and stuff like that too. So
well, I think this is the hard part to realize is that, you know, Jake DeBrusk is a replaceable player, but they just didn't replace him,
right,
right? They
well,
just
yeah.
filled the gap with a body, not with a player. And I know that sounds very mean to Morgan Geeky, but he is not. It's tough to ask somebody to do something they can't. You know, it's. I'm not giving him. I'm not giving him the rope either. I honestly believe, like, hey, if you want to be in this league, you want to be on this team, there's a hole, go grab it, go fight for it, and you're not doing it. So next up, but they're just not doing this next up thing. And now I want to get into the Patra thing because this is driving me fucking nuts. Now, Matt Patra has made mistakes that were detrimental. I mean, there were in the I can't remember what game it was, but on the power play, he turned over and there was a shorthanded goal against, and you just see he's chasing the puck, and then he's in our own fucking net. It was a mess. You know, I remember Tommy texting like, "I'm surprised he's." Wouldn't be surprised if he's benched the rest of the game for that. Blah blah blah. Next game, Colorado. He actually gets benched in the third. He gets benched in the third after he was one of the only centers in the game to win a faceoff. He had 6 out of 7 snaps. He also had complete puck control on the power play and had more shots on goal than the rest of the team and was benched in the third.
Hmm.
I have no fucking clue what the hell is going on with what they're doing with Patra, but he must have banged someone's daughter because this makes no sense as to what is actually happening. I mean, and then still, he has not gotten a second line crack when Coyle can't do anything. So something's up. And my whole issue with this, right, is that we're talking about Matt Patra like he is supposed to be the guy that's doing these numbers, but he is 19. And last year, if he was sent down, would have made it to juniors because he was so young and his contract wasn't eligible to be placed in the AHL. And this dude jumped the AHL and went in, made himself into the pros, and this is how we're treating him. Now, there is something to be said about sheltering the young talent and making sure that they're not in positions to fail. Monty last year threw this kid into all these tough situations, chewed him out publicly, and the kid ended up grinding his way into a shoulder surgery. And a lot of it was because he wasn't protected the right ways. He was bullied. And I felt very negatively about how Monty treated him. This year, he's not getting the opportunities. He's put on 15 pounds of muscle and he looks like he's ready to take over second line duties, but Monty doesn't trust him. Now, Monty was brought in for the kids. Oh, fucking Butch Cassidy's too mean to this team. He's lost the room. He's lost the room. He's a jerk. No one wants to play for a jerk. We got a whole fucking Babcock situation going on down here, right? Oh, okay. So we get rid of him. We get the nice guy in. Now the nice guy's treating the kids like they're trash. I don't actually know what the fuck's going on. No one calls me and tells me what's happening. But what I'm seeing on the ice is fucking despicable. That kid's a second line fucking center already. And if he's not, then put him on the wing because you have a giant fucking hole in the wing.
Yeah,
And if
what's
you
the worst
wanted,
that can happen? You know, just fucking, you gotta mix and match and move. Like even the Pens do that shit. We're like, hey, let's just see where this,
we always do it
just to
too
see where
late.
Rax does with Crosby. Where does Bo go with Malkin? Like you gotta shift it and shake it if it's just not working.
I think we always do it when we're down a goal instead of doing it when there's not a line producing. It's like
Yeah,
we'll
you can't
go
do it when you're like trying to scrap back, dude. That's not how that works. You just got to see like how they're going to start off, if they're just going to have that in them, and ride those kids for a bit and see put Pasta next to them. Just start seeing who's going to be really chemistry
anything,
bonding with them. Anything to where
anything.
they can figure it out. Because the few Bruins games that I've been watching here, I can see exactly what you're saying,
Yep.
and it's just bad hockey.
It's
It's
bad.
just bad
It's bad
hockey,
hockey. Yeah, I agree with
simply
you.
put.
And there isn't a reason for it. And I think outside of the wing, the glaring right wing issue on second line, you cannot look at this team on paper and say that this makes sense. The result makes sense. It doesn't.
Mhm.
Because I'm not expecting to go 82 and 0 with this team. I'm expecting to be 65 to 70% win. And I think that that's a fair estimation based on the defensive structure, based on the
Right.
goalie. And right now, 3-2-1. To me, that's 500. Overtime loss is 500 to me still.
For
Okay.
sure. For sure.
And so that's nothing. We're 6 games in. Come talk to me at 10 games. And if we're 3-4-3 or whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever the fucking math is. I'm not a mathematician. But if we're that, then you got some problems. I just think that Monty's on the hot seat. And I think he should be. And I know this is so typical Boston fandom to just fucking burn someone down the minute something doesn't go right. I understand that that's what it's like, but Claude Julien was in the exact same position when he got fired and Butch came in. And this is not a team that is willing to take risks on potentially being an under 500 team, nor
Right.
nor should they be considered in a rebuild era of needing to be a 500 team with the talent on that team. So somebody's head's got to roll. I don't know if Monty's is the right one. I have been screaming at the top of my lungs for fucking 10 years that it should be Don and Cam, but no one's ever going to listen to me. They've done such stupid things that have pissed me off to the highest point of level of fucking like not even wanting to be a fan anymore. But I'm still here because that B means more to me than what they do. Right.
Yeah.
And all of
Oh,
this
I
will
get
work
that.
itself out. Like I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if next week we're communicating and I'm like, hey, it was a better week, but I also at this point wouldn't be surprised if it got worse.
So, sometimes you kind of need that no matter how early you are in the season. Like, if you could just like change up management basically, like at like your job, and sometimes just bring in just a whole new breath of fresh air. You should just have that sometimes. We did that. We weren't even going to see the playoffs in what 2016, and then
Yeah,
we ditched him out, brought Solly in, and won out and made the playoffs and won the cup. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you just need to be like, you know what? Let's recognize this as it is. You're not handling these kids well. So how are you going to have a good team that's going to fight for you, or stick to your game plan, stay disciplined through a game when I don't know, either they don't know how to play to your scheme or whatever it is, but you got to figure out what you have and take what you have and grow with it. Because if you're not understanding what's on there and you're trying to force a bunch of people to do what they're not used to or what they haven't been, and you're clearly not giving them the proper training and drills to start like working into how you want that to see if they can even be capable of doing it, you're just not going to get anywhere. So you got to start interviewing some people or start checking around on some, boards to see like, hey, if, in 2 months now and we're in a tough spot, who can we talk to start, coming in here? And I don't really know. We love Sullivan around here, right? It's hard to get rid of a coach who brought you back to back cups and the runs and, just a wonderful front office for a while there. But, people around here don't really, want to lasso him in here and keep him here forever just because of that, like they will with Tomlin. It's like it's always win now here. Pens fans like are ruthless, dude. They don't give anybody. I mean, Yenzers just don't give anybody a shot. Russell Wilson just had 3 bad drives, and they were saying, "Get him the fuck out of here."
Right.
And then he's like, "Give me one more try," and he just took off and killed it. What a dog! But back to the Pens, Solely doesn't have that weight. Like if you're not winning for us to keep us occupied when football season's done, it gets a little testy. So,
That's right
that
over.
it's
Yeah.
getting hot in the kitchen. So, but it's the same thing with the Tomlin argument out here. Who's better? Like, who can get better than Sullivan? He is a great coach. He's played a lot of hockey. He played like over fucking 700 games. So dude knows what he's talking about. He's been there. He's done it. So it's so hard for me to blame, but he is sheltered in the way where he just says the same 5 things in every interview, and that's getting a little old because it's like, you know what, you're right. The old men did fight hard, but we also want the old men to fucking see a little bit of glory one last time, of course. So what are you doing with the other 7 to 9 pieces around them that
Right.
just can't do it?
I don't know. I
It,
don't
it's
know.
it's going to cause for a long season for us. This is going to be not a good hockey pod. this is
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
going to be brutal.
This has been the first one that's been like just straight. I don't have anything funny or witty to say. I'm just angry. Um, I'm still hopeful though because it is so fresh. So I think that's a good place to wrap. We don't want to extend these things so long for no reason, just to get some time in. I mean, this is what we had to talk about this week, right? And hopefully next week it's more fun and uplifting. But fuck these fucking teams right now, man.
I fucking
Like
hate this sport, man.
I
Why?
hate this sport.
Why do we do this?
I don't know.
Oh
This
my
is this has
god,
been
dude.
a this is going to be a tennis pod. I'm telling you. I'm taking the tennis.
I'll take badminton right now over this shit.
Mhm.
But
All right.
outside of the doom and gloom, since people are listening to this are probably gonna take their car off the fucking road.
Sure.
Is there anything looking good? No, your fantasy life sucks too.
You had to bring that up. I was
Yeah.
trying to go the whole pod without talking about that.
Yeah, but I had to kind of, boomerang that back to me here where like William Nylander looks fucking unbelievable again. That dude is all the way back and I think he had a couple goals and a hat or an assist today. So I'm gonna check my score after this.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm not doing well.
No.
I'm not just losing. I'm mentally not doing well.
I'm not
Like,
laughing on your downfall right now, but
people might folks might strap me down just to keep sharp objects away from me eventually. Like this is not going well.
listen,
I
we're
just
gonna have
I
to
just lost to literally the worst person to ever play any fantasy sport. And without him even knowing it because he's so stupid, he benched his entire team and still beat me on Sunday. I am I am a fucking clown. I
listen, you got no argument out of me on that one, you fucking clown. That ain't
I
happening.
am not good. And I feel like I need to be hospitalized because I'm taking crazy pills because of what I saw. And if I can't I changed my team name. That's going to do it. That solves it. Change
I don't know, man.
I had
That's
to.
it. That's the fresh start that you need. Management's taking over. You kick out the shit that ain't working, mix up some juju in there, and you went back to that old name, but I'm pretty sure that old name's pissed off at you for what you did. You abandoned that name. So,
Listen,
you know,
I'm going to
good
tell you
luck.
something right now. The year that I changed that name was the year I won the championship out of respect because he retired. Bergeron's boyfriend, no longer. He retired. He went out a champion. He may not have won the Stanley Cup, but he won the Ice Holes Cup. All
So
right.
you're telling me that you took the banner out of the rafters,
I took the banner right out. They don't need it.
rebranded.
I called him a lot. He didn't answer. It's okay. He'll get back to me. It's been 3 years. But you know what? We're back. I'm his boyfriend, and I'm gonna die his boyfriend. And
This just sounds
Pastafarian
like
can kiss my ass. I'm
this
out.
is this sounds like a toxic relationship on Jerry. But yeah,
It
good
is.
luck with that.
Thanks,
It's
man. I
gonna be
appreciate
fun
it.
watching you crawl back because you're there. You're gonna get there. But man,
Shut the fuck up, Nez.
life's been beating
Okay.
you down.
You realize that
Listen, if you
now
need tips, if you
being
need
0 and
tips,
2, it would being 0 and 2 in this league means it would take a month to get to
want
500.
to know.
You've fucking been there, you bitch. End this fucking podcast. I'm out.
This has been not a good hockey pod.